This is William Hall with Resist the Mainstream, and a former Fox News reporter has now been charged with a DUI. Before we jump into the story, just a quick reminder to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so that you get notified when our videos go live. So let's go ahead and jump right into this one here. This is quite the interesting story dealing with, as I mentioned, a Fox News reporter that is going through some issues here, some DUI charges. So this is a former Fox News reporter, Ed Henry, and he was arrested very recently here. So the Fox News correspondent Ed Henry who was dismissed from his position in Fox News from 2020. Now, this was over some sexual misconduct allegations and was actually arrested on the charges of driving under the influence in June. So official reports are showing that Henry was intercepted by a sheriff deputy in West Palm Beach after the deputy witnessed Henry's black Cadillac Escalade driving down the road with a flat tire on the front side. Now, right there is kind of weird because you would think that he would actually be aware of this. If it was really flat, you would imagine that this guy would be like, okay, let me figure out how I can get this whole thing fixed. So Sportskeeda reported that Henry claimed to be unaware of the tire's condition and made a turn, causing the tire to come off the rim and roll onto oncoming traffic. Henry then reportedly pulled the car into a car dealership and admitted to consuming 6 to 7 glasses of bourbon, which is very odd. And as I mentioned, this is quite the strange conundrum because the reality is, if you really had a flat tire that was that flat, you would notice it, right? There's no way that you would just be that completely unaware, and it seems kind of excessive that you would wait till the entire tire goes into the other side of the road for oncoming traffic before you realize that there's a problem here, right? Seems kind of odd. So let's go on down here and continue with this one. So the West Palm Beach police reported that Henry was arrested on June 20th, and that was at 8 p.m. for driving under the influence of alcohol at the time. You can see his picture here in this actual shot here. So obviously glassy, bloodshot eyes is what they're reporting, and you can kind of see that in the photo there. But according to the Daily Wire, a law enforcement officer observed signs of intoxication, including the odor of alcohol, eyes appearing glassy, like I mentioned, bloodshot, and even being unable to walk steadily, and also having slurred speech. So very much so out of it. Now, it was also kind of strange that he just came outright and admitted the entire situation as well. Like, yeah, I'm drunk, very pretty much is basically what he told him right away. So it was kind of already kind of setting himself up for failure there. But Henry acknowledged that he had consumed bourbon earlier that night and could not pass the field sobriety test conducted at the scene. However, when a breathalyzer test was administered, the results indicated a blood alcohol concentration that was just below the legal defined limit for intoxication. So in general, he was okay. It wasn't like it was some ridiculously high amount, but it was still enough to land him in custody, obviously. So he was taken into custody, and then he elected to remain silent and not respond to the inquiries from the authorities, invoking his right to counsel. So the Radar Online reported that in response to the charges, his attorney had expressed confidence in Henry's defense, emphasizing that his client's breathalyzer result was under the legal limit, which is a critical factor in such cases. So obviously that doesn't stop them from arresting him. It doesn't stop the situation that happened. And at the end of the day, yeah, he may not get charged with a DUI. We'll see what happens with that. But you still have the whole tire going into oncoming traffic. And if they can basically attribute some type of issue with that and say that it was a result of being even remotely somewhat intoxicated, that still isn't a good look, because the question becomes, would he have been aware of it if he actually was sober at the time that he had this flat tire, which I'm pretty sure he probably knew, even drunk or not, that he had a flat tire. But you still see this being something that could be the case. So that really is what this boils down to. Is he actually, or was he aware of this entire situation the entire time? Or was this something where he waited till the last minute to kind of try to figure out exactly what was going on, and then realizing, oh wait, the tire fell off, and now, I mean, this guy was literally driving with just the rim of the top of the car, right? The rim of the actual vehicle being on the road. I mean, that seems like a pretty drastic measure before you realize that there was an issue with the actual tire. So that's what this whole case is going to really boil down to, I think, because at the end of the day, if he would have noticed it without being intoxicated or under the influence, then the idea is that would he have noticed that tire? And that's really what this is going to boil down to, because otherwise he was endangering people regardless. You still have a situation where if he was sober, then maybe he would have pulled that car over on the side of the road sooner. Maybe something else would have happened. Maybe he would have noticed it immediately when it was flat. I don't know. And the other question is, how long was the tire flat for, right? I mean, did he leave the house with a completely flat tire and was just driving on a flat tire the entire time? Was it a situation where the tire went flat while he was driving in the middle of that? Did it just go flat and then he maybe wasn't reacting as quickly as he should have to slow down, get off the road, and pull over and not endanger other people? That's really the golden question here. And that's really what we have to be asking in this situation. Is that relevant, and is that going to be something that's going to be brought up in this particular case? And how much is that going to influence everything? So it's kind of regardless of whether he was under the influence or not, and really the effects of that. But he was still pretty close. So that still isn't a good look for him in any situation whatsoever. There was also some other allegations that had happened a while ago, and the reason why he was fired from Fox in the first place in 2020 due to some sexual assault allegations and things like that. But this isn't a good look for him either, of course. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think of this situation? Do you think that that he should be charged with this? Do you think he's guilty of this? And is this whole flat tire situation something that he could have known about beforehand or known about while he was driving? And would it have changed anything if he was actually sober in this situation? Let us know down in the comments what you think. Remember to like, comment, share this video out there so that everybody can be aware of these types of stories. And we'll catch you on the next one.